Okay, this is going to be a transition plan review, so you guys can survive that assignment. Should have had it out before now, but I just one of those things I'd let slip, so I apologize. All right, so first page, this is going to be kind of a quick run through these. Just remember the first two questions are about kind of extrapolating what either Morgan or Robert or whoever your person is, what their preferences are and their perceived skills and strengths. And so you're basically going to bullet list this. This doesn't have to be a long paragraph. It's not like a plop. It's just basically relevant statements from these cases that pertain to strengths and skills, and then what their interests are, or what this seems to be their interests are. And Morgan and Robert have enough indications as to what you might say is, oh yeah, this is a good match for them. Of course, our first concern is to make sure that we're meeting the kids' needs. So you always start with what they would like to do. The third one, the third question on the front is list and discuss 4 or more tools, tests, or exams that could be used to better determine the student's skills and interest. And so you may, what you just do is put down here, you just put something like the WIAT, and then you put to determine his academic achievement in core areas, math, reading, or writing abilities, and so forth. So you just basically provide just the basic information about why you've selected that particular test. These are the tests we've been covering in class. So the transition planning inventory, the Weschler individual achievement test like this one, or Wilcox-Johnson, the PIAT, the TOWLS, the OWLS, I mean, all those tests, any of those will work. It just depends on what you want to think about for your student. Now remember, the next 4 pages are all the same in structure. It's just that they cover each one a different area. Remember I said to skip course of study, and we'll come back to that. Instead, we're going to go down, and we're going to go to employment. Employment, there are 2 different types of employment outcomes that you can think about. One is the hard type, and the other one is the soft skills. The hard skills are the ones that are directly related to a certain job. So let's say you decided that Robert is going to be he's probably going to move into the cooking, chef, food preparation types of jobs. If that's the case, then employment, with regard to the hard skill, is you might need to have some things like, well, basically, he's going to be, he's going to pursue a career in food preparation. Now that might be the outcome that's a hard skill. Basically, become a cook or a secondary cook, or a fry cook or whatever it might be. The case of soft skills, it would be something like he's going to apply for employment, might be part of it, and he's going to maybe he's going to exhibit good employee relation skills, and so forth. And so those types of things are soft skills. So you come to work on time, you dress properly, you know what's expected of you, those sorts of things. So there we go. So these are the outcomes. Now the action plans, usually best handled by bullets, and they're usually either implied or explicitly chronological. So in the case of a career in food prep, maybe he does a course in math for measurement, because he's going to have to know measurement. Maybe he does a course in reading, functional reading, for recipes and instructions and so forth. And these are in high school. You could put that notation. And then maybe he's going to do an internship at high school cafeteria. And then he does work study at, and name some restaurant of some sort, or some place that they prepare food. And this will be after high school or during high school also. And then he's going to apply for work at whatever that place is. You're going to name it. And that may also still be in high school. And then he's going to work with job shadow coach at so-and-so, and that will be after high school, and so forth. So the action plan gives a bulleted list, usually reasonably detailed, not ridiculously so, just to let us know exactly what's going to be happening there. So for applying for employment, which is kind of one of the pieces in here, apply for work at, get application, a practice. You're probably going to get him to practice filling out applications and things like that. And then you're going to move from there into, once he's practiced doing it, he's going to move into actually doing it himself, maybe apply for a couple different jobs, and hopefully he's going to get one of those. But you would probably work with him directly. Now, when it comes to special education, course in math and the course in reading both would move towards special education stuff, because you could basically say that he may need calculator, so that's an accommodation out of his IEP, and he may need math goals related to measurement, and there are others too, but these are the ones that you could see as obvious connectors. And then finally, the agency is responsible. In our action plan, there's the high school special ed teacher, but there's also whoever the owner of the so-and-so restaurant is, and then whoever else might be, kid, parent. Okay, next up, so that's the transition plan. You're going to the transition plan for employment. There's going to usually be a 4, but you can fill in all 5 if you want. So going down to the other 2 in a little bit more of a brief way, community experiences have to do with his involvement in the community. It can be how he gets along with his neighbors. It can be what he chooses to do with his leisure time. You can break that into multiple pieces. You can talk about his involvement with church, the YMCA, the fitness, volunteering for Boy Scouts, I mean, whatever it might be. So how he's getting along, even how he travels around the community. You can talk about transportation, using public transportation, things like that. And then the last one is daily living skills and needs. And the daily living is this is probably the easiest one, because it's everything from hygiene to taking care of an apartment to taking care of bills, finances, and those types of things. And remember, keep in mind with finances, he's going to have probably some IP connections because of calculation with regard to money, and adding and subtracting, and maybe even multiplying and dividing. And then the action plan would probably have him taking courses in high school to do that. So we got all that stuff, and then we go back up to course of study. Now remember, we had courses of math, courses in reading here, so those would probably be represented up here. So once we finish the other 3 sections, we come back to course of study, and that's where we might enter in high school functional academics program. Well, actually, I would probably put functional mathematics measurement. You could word this a couple different ways. And then the action plan would lead towards that. And it could be functional reading and writing, again. And then I would think cooking school or cooking classes would be another. And then you would go on there. So the course of study would definitely come out of these other 3, depending on what you're doing with them. Okay? And then you just submit the whole bad boy to me. All right. Very good. Thank you very much.